If you come by the children's area here at the Baxter Patrick James Island branch, you may meet children's librarian Toby Casey. For the first 15 years of his career, Toby took his library degree on a non-traditional path in the oil and gas industry.
I ultimately was working in what's called systems control and data acquisition, which is essentially the folks that install the computer systems that enable you to monitor the oil wells from afar and keep them from getting all fiery. And actually my library science education fell into that because of the massive amounts of data that's produced from those systems. So being a librarian in the industrial world actually makes a lot more sense than it sounds at surface level.
But eventually, Toby found the need for a more fulfilling career.
Kind of had some time to reflect on what I wanted out of life and kind of, everyone wondering about their legacy. And I had to ask myself whether or not I was leaving the world a little better than what I found it. And that answer was most certainly no. And so I decided to go down a different path.
He went back to school and considered becoming a middle school teacher, but decided on library children's services.
Not really having a desire to chase an incredibly high-stress, long work week job to make lots of money, but instead to sit around and play with kids and sing Baby Shark all day.
Toby is the only male children's librarian at CCPL, and he says that was a factor in choosing his career.
I was looking at what is the main thing that I need to go into where I'm needed. And so I was paying attention to the fact that unless you were a coach, our junior high kids never really saw males in those positions. That became even more true as a librarian. At my last system, not only was I the only male children's librarian, I was the only male librarian in a system that had over 250 employees.
He says he can lead by example and show kids gender doesn't limit their career choices.
It's just learning from the experience of being able to come through a library and see that men are more than just a stuffy authoritarian figure, and that being a service employee isn't a female trait. It just happens to be something that a lot of females do. But it's not something that is innately gender specific. And I hope that they're able to see both as whether a little boy, a little girl, or anywhere in between, that their job doesn't define them and that jobs don't carry innate gender definitions, nor do various characters of persona.
Children's librarians work with ages 0 through 11. And Toby says you'll usually find him with the tweens.
My specialty is kind of that tween era, those incredibly difficult years as, you're not a little kid anymore, you're not a teenager anymore, and a lot of times we lose them because that's when it's most difficult to deal with them because it also happens to be the most difficult times of their lives. And so I'm here to make a difference, and so I gravitate towards the most difficult situations, which tend to be those kids that aren't quite teens, not quite little kids, they're little tweens that a lot of times we forget about, but I haven't.
And remember, you can meet Toby and the rest of our awesome children's staff right here at the Baxter Patrick James Island branch. And I'll see you next Monday to meet your library.